Since it's 7:30, I'm calling the meeting to order. Okay. Old business, 2123 High Street. Carl Hansen and River Architects. So who wants to take us through your proposal?
I will. So it seems, as you know, we were waiting for a building permit until we all realized we had some unfinished business. So we had our original application back in 2019 for the property, which was approved with 3 conditions. And then COVID hit. The project went on pause, and we all realized we didn't have those 3 conditions done. We came back last fall and wanted to essentially provide a reapproval or a renewal of our old approval with a couple of small modifications, which we met with you this last fall, and I believe in the December meeting. And the board approved the renewal with the modifications. And then as we were waiting for our building department permit, we realized we were just missing a few of the 3 items from the original 2019 approval. So we've since been in contact with Karen of the board and sent over some of the original spec sheets from that 2019 approval, which aren't necessarily relevant anymore, but just to meet and satisfy the needs to have the documentation in place for the original approval. So really, we're here to hopefully just clarify everything and be able to move forward to settle anything left over from the 2019 approval.
All right. So essentially, what I gather is you're telling us that the old approval has expired. Is that correct?
Well, so yes, we believe the old approval had expired, although it appears that the certificate of approval was never actually issued from the 2019. But nobody realized this until we came back and submitted for our building department permit this summer. So we came back in December of this last year of 2022 and sought a renewal of the original approval, which we thought we had, and the board granted that. The 3 conditions that were left over were essentially, the board had previously approved in 2019 the entire project, except with the exception of 3 items. One was cut sheets of some specific windows around the sunroom area of the house, as well as cut sheets of the skylights for that area. And then the 3rd condition was really a condition upon during construction, us putting up some educational signage in lieu of a public hearing. And so that's something we still plan on doing and we'll do. But really the 2 outstanding items were cut sheets of the sunroom windows and skylights, which we sent over what we had previously sought to use, and then have since removed the skylights. So really the only, and those were never an original part of the building. They weren't historic. So they really kind of become a moot point now. And now we have submitted a full window package and quote from Rockman Windows with LePage windows and doors as our intended use. We provided section details of those units. However, we don't have manufacturer cut sheets that you might normally see because they won't provide those until we get into shop drawings with them. And we didn't want to commit to them until we had our final approval here from the board.
Okay, so because there's a lot of paper here.
Yeah.
Just want to cut through it all so that we know what it is that we're dealing with.
Yep.
So this first sheet that has referral to the Historic Review Board, I would assume, am I correct, is that that's 2019. So this is the original, or is this?
All 3 are there. The one from December of last year is also
Yeah, you should have the original referral to the Historic Review Board from
Yes.
2019. And then without an official certificate of approval, even though we have the minutes and the note or the notes from that meeting, there were just 3 conditions of approval, which we didn't close out prior to the project going on hold with the pandemic.
And did the window sizes change a bit this time, or was that from 19 to?
This.
That was from 19 to 22. That's when we came in. We saw it. I think it was a modification to 3 windows. Actually, I can pull up those drawings if you like.
Changes.
So it's really just window cut
Oh.
sheets.
This is.
Yeah, essentially, the design, everything's been approved up to this date that the board has reviewed. So really, it's just about cut sheets. So that would be the quote from Rockman Windows and Doors, and then additionally some kind of section views of the proposed units. And as I understand it, LePage has been approved in the historic district of the village before as well. So the profile should be suitable.
So we're really just kind of looking
So-
at the cut
This
sheets.
is what we. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 packages that I'm just trying to sort through so that I know what it is that I'm supposed to approve this time.
Yeah,
Um,
so the only two the only 2 relevant items that you would need for approval this time would be the window quote estimate and quote from Rockman Windows, as well as the section views of those windows. There should be a double hung unit, a
Why
casement
do we
style.
need a quote?
So
I
that's
mean,
the quote is what they sent them with the cut sheet
Cut sheets.
drawings.
Yeah,
The quote's irrelevant. We're not, I don't even see.
what we're really looking for is just catalog cut of.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
what they're,
unit.
the
so the
Frame.
section views you have are the only thing. The one thing I want to clear up though is what I understood the issue to be was that we hadn't closed out the original 2019 approval. So we want to make sure that we get that closed out because that was what was missing. The board's already essentially reviewed everything we've proposed since then and approved it.
Well, but the thing is that, I mean, our permits are 2-year permits. And 2019 is over 2 years ago. So theoretically, that approval is no longer valid. Right? So
Okay,
basically
but
what
then we
should
have
be-
an approval
well,
from
but-
22, correct?
yeah.
Well, that's just it. So what we should be doing is looking at the one in 22.
Which we already approved.
Okay,
Yeah, if
So then-
my understanding was the only reason we were held up is because you didn't have all of the documentation from the original 2019 approval, because otherwise we've already been back in front of you in December of 2022 and received approval from that.
so what was the documentation that was missing?
Cut sheets of the sunroom windows
Okay.
and
So
sunroom
the cut
skylights.
sheets- All right, so the cut sheets is the information that was missing from the 2019 application, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, but did you ever get a certificate of appropriateness? In other words, the form? No,
No, we did not. That's what we were trying to
That's
clear
your
up.
waiting.
Essentially,
all right, and then COVID hit and,
yeah.
So
And
what-
everybody forgot we were missing those 3 items essentially. So
so 2019 is ancient history unless we're going to pull out some drawings from there. So
agreed.
the 2022 is which one? This is the most current one, August. This is August.
This is the one I was looking.
And
If you want to enable screen sharing, I can also pull up what you should have in front of you.
This is what he's giving you now. And
2019, this is 2019. The drawings really probably won't change that much.
Correct. The only
Well, that was
change
the
we
notice.
sought in 2022 was a
Yeah.
change of 3 window sizes
Look,
on the back side of the property, the non-street facing.
all right. That's it, okay,
That's it.
I got it.
That's what it was, to wider windows.
And,
Okay, so,
Lloyd is trying to get in.
so 21-20, or rather, December 6, 2022.
Yep.
Is one is actually was issued as a notice, which would have been relevant from 2019. That would work, okay. So, and now 2022. Is this the portion that we're dealing with here that is missing?
Probably, it's,
Is that it?
thank you. I think
I know, but
Oh.
what is it that we're trying to include in here that we're missing?
the LePage cut sheets, right?
Yeah, so you should have the section views of those. What I mentioned is they don't have traditional cut sheets from the manufacturer until we get into Windows shop drawings, and we have to commit to that and put a down payment, which we were holding off because we needed HDRB approval before we commit to the windows.
Okay, so on this sheet, which is from 22,
Oh, I see now.
It's a single light.
And you're a window guy, I don't know why I'm telling you this. Now I see the picture, okay. So there's no muntins.
No.
Which is in keeping with what's already there.
all right,
They're new windows going in new openings, so they're not, it's not like. a
okay, and I see we have a slider as far as the door.
Yeah.
And then we also have a pivot door. Parallel cut.
If you'd like, if whoever's hosting the meeting can enable screen sharing, I can pull up the drawings on the computer if you like.
You have to understand, I need to make sense of what I have in front of me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that would probably be helpful to see them up there.
Okay, so was there any deficiencies as a result of the 2022 application? The one that you have the building notice on?
No,
Okay, but what you're saying now is that there are changes to that application?
no, what occurred is that we still haven't received a formal certificate of appropriateness because even though you approved it in the meeting from 2022, it was based on a renewal of 2019, which didn't
Which
formally get
didn't
a
have the
COA.
certificate of appropriateness.
Correct.
Okay, got
Yep.
that.
But as far as your review, you've viewed and verbally and through the minutes have approved everything we've provided previously.
So essentially what you're looking for is just a certificate of appropriateness based on
December.
today's application, so that you have a certificate of appropriateness, which you don't have, even though we issued you a notice, but that was because it wasn't one. Okay,
Correct. Yeah.
but are there any changes? So then should we be looking at or approving?
And I think that's.
That's a different one, different applicant, okay. This looks like Haddon residence, yes.
Yeah,
And
Correct.
that's all right, but I've already got that.
so I don't know if this is helpful or not, but the first time this project came before the board was on August 14th of 2019.
All right,
Then on the 28th, they came back with the other set, and that's the one that you marked up that everything was good, except that you needed the skylights, the sunroom door, and the sunroom windows. That you never got, so that's why there was no certificate of appropriateness.
Okay,
And in
All right.
20,
but see now, my question is that should we be dealing with the documentation that was submitted on 22 or 19?
22, I
Well,
think we all agreed.
2022
Well, but
was
I
the
guess-
change in the windows
Yeah.
to make them wider. It didn't address the sunroom things at all. That was still never resolved.
That was, oh, okay, so that might have been
Well,
tucked
well,
in.
well, okay, so what I'm looking for is what is it that you want us to approve, and that would be the drawings that were submitted in 2022,
Correct.
okay? Because that also has the catalog cuts.
Yep.
That we were looking for. But now, you mentioned something about the skylights no longer being applicable.
Yeah, the only change that has happened since then is that the skylights in the sunroom have been deleted, and they were never a part of the building. We
Okay,
sought approval for the addition of them in 19, but they've been brought back out. So it's more original now, so to speak.
okay, so then what, these changes, wider window at kitchen, is that part of the 2022 submission?
Yes, that's what you reviewed in 22 and approved.
Okay. Got it. All right, so the only thing as far as the documentation is with this, what we need to say is that these skylights are not, have been deleted.
Mhm.
Okay. This is 19. That's 19. 19. Okay. All right. Just so that we understand what it is that we're reviewing, can you go through the catalog cut and tell us where these details apply?
Yes, so. Essentially the double hung unit is our typical window unit that applies to most of the windows. We also have a section cut of the casement window, which applies to the sunroom area.
The basement windows, the second one,
Yes.
and then where on the elevation is that located?
That is on the, let me just look at the plan again. That is on the north and west corner. So if you're looking at the 2022 submission, I think the easiest one would see if you look at sheet HD 04.1 or 04.2, either would work. That's the sunroom with the muntins. Those are the units, the only units with the muntins. So it's that view number 2, view from the northeast. So that's just the first floor.
Only
So
the
that's
view
it.
from northwest.
Yeah.
We might have had a misprint here because I have 2 of the same sheet.
So you could see the view from the northwest, then it's going to be on that left corner, all the units that are kind of
All
full
the first
glazing with
floor-
it's just that corner of the first floor, correct?
So obviously these are triple glazed windows, so the muttons are applied to the outside face, or?
Correct. That's a detail we can look at with LePage about whether they need them on the interior as well, but at a minimum, they would be on the exterior.
And the width of the muttons is gonna be the same as what's there now?
Yes, it would match the existing.
Okay. And
All right, I'm looking at
it's the
36. You took them at the whole,
It's the whole front corner, yeah. It's all of those original windows in the sunroom.
and they're all going to have the mutton pattern that's indicated on.
Yeah, we're looking to match the existing.
All right, because our guidelines do in fact call for a simulated divided light, which would mean both inside and outside.
Then we can make sure that they're on the interior as well.
And what kind of glazing loss, since these are going in existing openings, obviously the frames are gonna be much bigger presumably for triple insulated glass windows?
Well, no, the frame width doesn't have to necessarily increase. It would be the depth to deal with the thicker IGU, but the width of the frame can still match close to the existing. But those dimensions are indicated on the section views as well.
Right, we just don't have dimensions of what's currently there,
Right.
so that doesn't help very much.
Well, typically the passive house type units that we often specify on our new construction projects are like a 4-inch wide frame, and these are still only about 2 inches. So they should be very, very similar, if not just like the existing.
All right, so the double hung are all the windows aside from the sunroom windows, right?
Yes. And then the casements are the sunroom windows.
Yeah, I mean, the double hung to me, that's an easy one to fake. Simulated divided light on a casement. And that whole room with the original wood windows is a much bigger, trickier thing to fake. So that's kind of what, that's my only holdup right now.
Okay,
I don't recall that being approved.
All right,
in December,
page-
but I guess if it was approved, then. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, page 4 is an awning window. Where is that?
So that with me here, I just have to find it on the plan.
With the triple glaze.
But I'm their next door neighbor and these windows are in terrible shape.
Yeah.
They're like single pane. It's a pretty unique.
So the awning window is located on the south facade, where an existing bathroom is, and it's matching an existing awning window there. On the second floor, sorry.
Lloyd, do you have any thoughts?
No, honestly, I've been trying to catch up and then remember the previous submission of this and the previous review we did. I'm not remembering the sunroom, but my memory may be faulty. I don't know that I have, I guess what I have here is the 2019 package. Maybe I have more. No, it looks like 2019. So yeah, I definitely don't remember that far back. I do remember looking at it in 2022, but again, I don't remember the sunroom. So
I do too, and I think what probably happened was that when you guys presented, you already kind of had approval from 2019.
Yeah.
And so you were probably just focusing on what changed, which was a couple window dimensions for double hung windows, because there's no way I would have not already commented on those sunroom windows being changed to triple glazed.
yeah, I remember the big discussion was about the wider windows on the
Yeah.
back elevation and how they weren't really visible. So those were okay. That's all I remember discussing. So I just I just want to refresh my memory about 2019. I'm not saying anything either way. Just that I want to look back or.
All right, I've got a question. I still can't find in plan or elevation for the awning.
If- So if you look at sheet HD 03.7, that's the south elevation. On the second floor, there's a small window that's an existing awning
The
window.
one
that
that
we're-
is over the toilet?
Yes,
Okay, I don't have a 0.37.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't either. I did see it somewhere here though.
so again, if whoever's hosting can enable the screen sharing, I can share my screen.
Well, according to the plan, that should be elevation 0.5.
It's in the tenant space. So if you can see this is the south elevation. This is an existing awning window that we're replacing with it.
We're seeing the agenda.
Yeah.
Maybe another screen.
Oops, I'm sorry about that. Wrong screen. Apologize.
Do that all the time.
Sorry about that. There we go. How's that?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have, I apologize. It's this window on the south elevation. It's a small window in the tenant bathroom on the second floor. So that's being replaced in kind with an existing awning window with a new awning window.
All right, let me see if I can summarize. The double hung windows are all of the windows other than the casement
here.
windows in the sunroom and the awning window in the bathroom.
Correct. So these are the casements here in the
Okay,
sunroom.
so then after that, what we have is the slider, which is at the second floor balcony, am I correct?
The slider, yes, that's the slider here.
Mhm.
Yep.
Is that the only place?
Yes.
All right, and then are these is there any cladding on the sliding? In other words, is that
I think they're solid wood.
yeah, typically they're all solid wood, but I mean, the question is whether or not there's a cladding on it.
There's no like cladding or veneer beyond the window itself. Let me pull up in the sliders
Yeah.
here.
It's going to be
Talking about the slider.
painted wood on the exterior and the interior.
Correct. Actually, Josh and Jackie, this might be one thing you can clarify for me. I forget if we're doing painted on the exterior and natural on the interior, but
Yeah, painted
Yeah.
exteriors, natural stained interior.
yep.
So is that a wood veneer that's applied to the section?
For the slider.
Uh,
Kind of looks like it. It kind of looks like it in the drawing. It does. Yeah.
but then I see that on all, well,
Well, the windows don't. The windows.
yeah, the windows don't.
Kind of cross hatching there, so.
And the swing door does, except for the frame.
So the way the cut sheet, the way they sort of did the shading, Al is pointing out, it looks like almost a veneer over, so there is fine. It obviously looks like solid wood, but if you go to the French door screen, the sliding door screen,
Yeah.
and you zoom in, Yeah, that.
what is
Talking about this here.
yeah. I mean, I guess if they're if they're saying it's wood, if it's solid wood and it's not clad in anything, then whether it's a wood veneer over some, I don't know, what can we.
Well, I
Yeah,
think that,
wondering too, if we
Prevent that, I don't think so.
what's veneer?
We approve
Yeah.
aluminum clad.
Right.
would you say, Lloyd?
I said, is there an issue with the veneer? Yeah, like Andrea said, we approved aluminum clad, so what's the difference really? It's wood. So it's better, I think.
Me too.
Yeah, no issue.
Okay, it's what,
I have no issue with that.
I know, but, so this is a wood veneer?
That's our understanding. We have not been told, at least it's not in the pricing.
Okay, I guess the question is it paintable?
Yes.
Yes.
They're gonna paint the sides and the other. Obviously, we don't.
I believe they can be factory painted as well.
Okay. So then I should be able to, okay. I won't beat it to death.
My question for the board, since I was not here in 2019 when this was at first approved,
Yeah.
I mean, my hang up is on the casement windows in the sunroom. But if this is not a point of discussion right now, because it's already been approved, then I will just kind of zip my lip, but I have.
Well, what are your concerns, since we're essentially, providing a,
Well, we don't have any dimensions on what's there now for glazing, for muttons, for frame or anything. So
what would the dimensions tell
well,
us?
seeing what kind of glazing we're losing percentage wise in the glass area. Would be my biggest thing. I mean,
Well,
those windows
The
are
sunroom windows already approved.
That's what I'm asking. It might be another-
Let's ask this question,
they're arguably like the character defining feature in my mind of this
Alright,
house.
but let's
So-
ask the question. Are these, insert windows, or are these new windows,
They're new replacement windows.
replacement windows? So they're
The
really,
whole project is undergoing an energy performance upgrade. So we're adding insulation, So the triple pane windows are a big part of that. Part of the 2019 approval, was also recognizing our own office as a good example of a project that could be done in the historic district and achieve high performance energy upgrades and still meet the requirements of the HDRB.
Yeah, my personal perspective is 1/1 double hung windows are very easy to replace and really be not noticeable, but true divided light windows like that are in that sunroom, they're never really gonna look the same. As much as you might be told that they're gonna be built with the same profiles, et cetera.
Here's my question. This is what it looks like now.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure that the windows in the sunroom really stylistically relate to anything else in the building.
Well, they don't, but they're there
Okay,
and they're old. So those windows
Yeah.
are, they're old.
I
So
think it was
whether
a screened in porch
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, they were added at one point.
yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, I think when it was done, it wasn't done properly.
Well, they
Well,
were
Yeah, when it
they were
was
usually single. They were usually single pane and very sort of porous, let's say, and simple. Right, just to keep the water and wind out, probably.
yeah, if I remember correctly, this was in fact a wraparound porch,
Mhm.
and they took down the interior wall. So I don't think that there are a historic element.
Yeah, that's really my question is do we know when that was done?
You guys have any information on when the,
All the numbers that gives us,
you guys have any
We
information on when that?
believe that wraparound porch was turned into what it is today sometime in the 40s.
Okay.
And it is based on a previous occupant of the house.
Mhm. I mean, to me, like, I live next door to this house. I see it all the time. I mean, they have to be insulated with plastic sheeting. Like, I don't live in the house. But the windows don't appear from the outside to be very solid. So that was why I asked that question.
Those windows might as
somebody's
well be
PJ
left
project.
open.
Right.
There's
Yeah, that's-
zero. It keeps some water out occasionally.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a question, just looking at the elevation, is the casement window, the one which is set within in other words, let's say looking at any of the elevations, it looks like there is a 3 muntins and then a larger muntin or mullion in between the two. So your casement window, is that a 2-unit window which is assembled, or is it one that has all of those muntins in it?
It's a 2-unit, I believe.
yeah, the middle horizontal is heavier too. Kind of replicating it.
They lap here.
Yeah, okay, so
So it's pairs.
basically that would be 2 units, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
They open at that center vertical then? That's where or are they opening in 4 sections?
They slide occasionally
slide.
from side to side.
Okay, they're sliding.
And
Okay.
so there's that one set in the front and then 2 sets around the side, which you can kind of make out.
And the replacement units are sliders also? Or no, you said casement.
Fixed.
They're fixed?
Fixed or now it's all over the place now? I'm having trouble understanding.
The new units are operable casements, correct?
Yeah.
Or fixed? Someone just said fixed.
Yeah,
I think the current ones are fixed.
The current ones are operable. The new ones are not intended to be operable.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So for whatever reason, they're using the word casement in their drawings to describe it's no.
Well, I guess they're buying a casement and just not opening it. Which I'm not totally sure that,
Yeah, that's a weird way of building a window.
well, yeah, they have other windows in the room, I guess, so.
okay,
I have no other comments.
Andrew?
No, I don't have any more questions.
Okay,
Can I add one thing? I was looking online at the page French doors, and they do come aluminum clad. It's an extruded aluminum, so it's a very thick, durable layer. It's not sheet aluminum. And that symbol on the section there, that cross section of that layer might be aluminum. It's kind of a diagonal line, evenly spaced, is typically aluminum. Anyway, it doesn't matter to me. I'm fine.
you're talking about the French
Well,
door.
This is on
The French doors, yeah. It doesn't matter to me either way. I'm just trying to add information to the discussion. It looks like these are aluminum, but they also come as wood if that's what
Well-
everyone wants.
These are meant to be wood.
Okay, then that they give you the wrong cut then maybe.
Well, yeah, and that's, they won't provide us with full cuts until we order the
Okay.
windows and put a deposit down. That's why we're operating with what
Yeah.
kind of generic sections they can provide.
Okay.
But at the top, it does say
Understood.
wood in
Yeah.
swing French door. Um,
Yeah. I think they call it that, whether they cover it with aluminum or not. But okay, it's clear to me.
Lloyd, do you have any other comments?
No, I don't.
Okay, so, we have the application for which we will be issuing a certificate of appropriateness. Do I have a motion? There are some comments that I'll be putting on the drawings. Does anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if it's as amended.
If what?
If the motion be to approve the application as amended or
As amended.
review. Yeah.
Okay.
I would move to approve the application as amended.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, Lloyd?
Aye.
I'm sorry,
Aye, yes.
Hi.
Andrew, and I vote aye. Okay, it's approved.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thanks.
You too.
Got a lot of Laura Bozzi. I don't know, you guys all have this too?
Yes.
You all?
Yeah.
Same one.
Oh, well, maybe because we thought I brought copies.
Oh,
Very
okay.
nice. Thank you.
Good thing we recycle here. All right.
Aaron, are these out of our records? Is that how we got these?
Yes, that was in the original 2019
All right,
file.
since I have a smaller version of it, that's all let me give these back to you, and they can put them back in the repository. All right. So now we have Laura Bozzi. Come on down. Have a seat. Okay, tell us what you want to do.
Sure, so, we live at 14 Garden. We purchased in 2019, and we love the house. It has a 90s kitchen that is so dark that you need to turn the light on even on the brightest day. And so, in addition to interior renovations that submitted a building permit for, we want to add another window. And in doing that, we would add another window, but also take out this kind of terrible window box, and make two windows that are the same. So, you know, it's a beautiful old brick building, but there are very few windows on the
Yeah.
side of the house.
My first house was next door to this.
Oh, really?
I was at 12.
Yeah. They're
Okay,
Good people.
So what is it that you would like to do?
So we'd like to replace the window box with a window and then add a new window. So the existing window is the one on the left. You can see that in the top picture, and then we would add another window right next to it. And that's the only part of this exterior request.
My only comment would be, I think it would be better without the mountains. Since the dormer in the front has two sliders on the third floor, the only muttons are in that front by the entryway. I think it looks a bit fake.
Can you tell me what a mutton?
The
I'm sorry.
divisions, like the fake,
Oh, to
the
have like
divide- the
no
divide.
divider, just have it be,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and a slider is not typically like a historical, I mean, there are examples, but they're not many. So the front windows here where you have, you know, the 6/1, those are kind of a pretty
Old.
common historic type
Yeah.
pattern. But I think the rest of the windows are just single big lights of glass, so my opinion is, yeah, lose them.
Yeah.
Lose them, and they're still gonna look modern, but at least they tie into what you have on the
Yeah.
third.
I totally agree, and you know, every time we see windows being proposed for kitchen areas, they usually look more utilitarian in their appearance, if that makes any sense. Like they don't, they obviously serve a purpose. That's on the interior that you can't see. So I am, you know, less interested in, you know, seeing an imitation of something that, you know, even if you had, say, 6/6 or something on the front of the house. These are clearly kitchen windows. And I know we've reviewed, there was even one, I believe across the street a long time ago. And, you know, they sit higher up on the facade, because they're usually over the counter. We see the same thing with bathroom windows. I don't think we've approved a whole lot of bathroom windows with Muntins, so,
They're usually smaller, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it looks like, you know, it's a window that serves a very specific purpose, so, I would scrap the taste.
Well, I guess my only question is that, just looking at it quickly, it looks like the window that you're proposing is an aluminum window.
Weather shield.
that's right.
Or any of the other windows in your house? Aluminum?
They're plastic.
They're plastic.
Even worse.
So it's not, you know, that's not something we can,
It's an
again,
upgrade.
we inherited it. I don't know, plastic, whatever the,
Vinyl.
Yeah.
except for those front windows.
Yeah,
They're
which
very,
those are
they're
worse.
very charming and
Yeah.
very rickety.
Wait, so the front windows are
Those
No,
are
the,
like-
in
No,
down
sorry.
here,
to
down
the-
here?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look
No,
at
all
this
the other
picture,
ones.
you Kind of tell that that's a wood sash.
I have color.
They were the original, yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
just repainted them.
Oh,
Looks great, too.
I know.
You
It looks really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I think we're trying to have that mix of historic and modern.
Yeah.
I understand the,
Okay, but these on the side and on the second floor are wood?
no, they're, everything except for these are vinyl,
These are wood?
but they won't last. They're old.
So we're not talking about those windows in the application, we're only talking about the kitchen, proposed kitchen windows. Right?
Yes.
That's right. It's the only one that works.
Yes.
What's on your mind, Al?
Well, it just, it's an aluminum window. Is it gonna be white?
Because the rest of the windows in the house are white. I think we prefer something higher quality in the new kitchen if we can, rather than more.
No, we definitely don't
vinyl.
want you to do vinyl.
Okay.
These dimensions that you have worked out, 30 inches, 48 is fine. So the 48 and the 36 are masonry openings, right? They're the, it's, and then the windows set within it.
Yeah, and there's actually a kind of a wood, clearly they replaced this window at some point. There's kind of a wide wood jam around it. So that's the difference between the 44 and the 48.
All right, I guess, my question is that you're calling out 48 inches is a module of 8 inches, which is the length of brick, whereas 30 is not. So when they're,
I think we're flexible on, or if you have a recommendation. I think
well,
that's
it
fine.
just, it's not going to be a true 30 inch. It's probably be a little bit either wider or narrower.
Yeah.
Because, and I wouldn't go with wider because I think that you're better off assembling it together. And
Yeah.
are there
Yeah.
two sinks? Is that the reason for them? Put the two of
No,
them next to each other?
it's just the only place we can fit
Add
them.
add some light.
Yeah, we're gonna, yeah, we have to, we didn't put in a floor plan just because it's all interior. There won't be we're moving the sink to a different spot. There won't be a sink there. It's just to get light into the room.
Okay.
But if they need to be a little bit closer to that,
Well,
Is
I
that
think,
whole wall open on the inside or are there cabinets?
we're gonna flip the kitchen side and the dining room side.
Oh, okay.
So that it will be the dining room side with no cabinets and no sink.
So
and
you've
that
got
will
some
go on.
flexibility there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're having the dining room next to these two windows, I'm just wondering, or should they maybe be more like the double hung that's closer to the front of the building? So you can have more view, more light, and more consistency? Just a thought.
No, but if they're.
Oh, you're dealing with the
Unless it
existing.
fits, I don't know,
Yeah.
they do an up and down with that.
I think
dimension.
what Lloyd is saying is that you don't have to, you are not married to
Yeah.
the dimensions of this window. If you want to take that out, correct me if I'm wrong, you could put in like a normal full-size window. You don't have to imitate what's
Oh,
already there.
yeah, except that it
It's an
is
existing
already
opening.
there.
That, one of them is an existing opening, so they're trying to just.
Got
add
it.
one
Right.
window.
I thought Lloyd was saying, okay, you know what, never mind.
You're, yeah,
That's Lloyd was-
I get it. Now. They're trying to keep it simple by using the one existing opening, and that makes sense.
Yeah, there's even like,
Without doing any work to the opening size or adding a new lintel or anything.
Yeah.
It's
So
I've
this
gone.
is gonna be against this wall, right, on the inside?
no,
So, I mean, you know, realistically, the sill doesn't have to be that high.
It doesn't.
pieces, yeah.
I mean, if you're looking to add light, I mean, the part that you have to deal with is you need to have a sill at the top. But once you do that, below, you have a lot more freedom to do whatever you want. Because you already have a sill, which is now transferring the load of the brick to either side.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's easy to open up on the bottom side. It's harder to put the top up. If you push the top up, you have to reinforce structurally. But if you want to peel bricks out of the bottom and make it bigger, you could.
Yeah,
Or you could just leave it.
Or,
I mean, I think our preference is the two windows.
I will say my
Rather,
first,
rather than making one really big.
no, just taller, basically mimicking this window here, doing two of these instead of two of, you know, these. So basically kind of leaving the width, but
Yeah.
dropping it, but, you know, that's 44 inches is a big,
But then we would make it narrower too.
you maybe would end up
I
making
think you
narrower,
have-
and then that's
well,
brickwork.
but then that would be a lot more sympathetic with the other windows.
It would, I mean, my opinion, at first glance, I was kind of like, oh, sliders, I don't know, and then the more I was looking at it, I really have nothing against the sliders there, they're in the front already.
Yeah.
And it is the side of the house that
Yeah.
the windows were generally a bit kind of off kilter and asymmetric and funky on the sides of these houses.
Yeah, and this is like
anyways.
a driveway in between these two houses, like these windows are pretty far back off this, yes, you can
In
see
some
them.
way, I think it would tie in, you know. tie
I
it
think
all
if you lowered this window, I mean, this is where the car goes, you would just be looking at
Yeah.
the car over dinner.
There's a bit of a slope to your driveway.
Yeah,
Is that like,
yeah.
cause like,
As
it's,
it comes
it's-
out.
there's
the
more distance from the
railings.
ground to the bottom of that window than there is over up there,
Yeah.
right? Look at the grass,
Yeah.
the way, how tall the
Yeah,
That
grass
would
is,
be
right?
super low.
So it'd be,
Well, but the thing is that realistically, there's not a hell of a lot of difference between that and that.
I have no
What,
problem with
size-wise?
the way they're
Yeah.
yeah,
proposed.
I have no problem with the way they.
I think it's fine.
I don't either. It's just exploring options. I see why it's being done to reuse the one existing opening. I understand why you want two because of the layout of the dining room, as I see on the plan. And I think, yeah, if you push the bottom down, you'd be looking into the top of the cars. So
You do lose flexibility on the interior as well, if you wanted to do built-in or like.
Yeah.
Bench seat or cabinetry. or
And
something.
maybe just the other thing to say is the other side of the house is, we're right up against the next house, so putting another, there's no light that comes in that direction, and putting another window there isn't helpful. So this is our one space.
So, I would recommend that you put in a taller window, but I don't have any objection to the slider.
yeah, I don't mind the slider either. You've already got them. And I think it's nice and clean and simple.
Say that again?
I don't mind the slider either. It's simple and clean, and you already have some on the front, so it holds together for me. Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion concerning this application?
I'll make a motion to approve it as stated.
I will second.
All in favor, Lloyd?
I'm sorry, we're good with the aluminum. We're going with the aluminum window.
Yeah.
But I don't have any trouble with it. I just didn't remember a resolution of that
Yep.
discussion.
Well,
I guess it's no different. It's no different than a clad aluminum window. I'll say aye.
You said that there was another slider elsewhere,
The dormer in the front of the house on the third
the
floor.
dormer in front of the house. Okay, up on top. And those are aluminum? No, they're plastic.
No, those are also. Oh, I'm sorry to throw a wrench in it there. I'm fine with the aluminum. So I'll say aye.
All right, so, you vote to approve.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Todd,
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Okay, despite my reservations, my reservations are not that strong, but I would vote against this. But I think that you'd probably be better off with a different configurations for it. But I guess I can actually even vote against it because you got the three votes.
If you want history to remember you that way, Al, then you can do that.
Okay. Then I will vote against it because it's an aluminum window and it's a slider. So, just for posterity, but you get your approval.
All
anyway.
right, that's fine. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Next up,
workshop.
Good evening, everyone.
come on down.
How I could share, slide deck.
Oh,
Is that something that I can just get onto the Zoom?
you might have to.
You'd have to send it to me. What is it you wanna?
I'm just wondering if I can control it or not. It's or
Is it something we already have?
No.
Is it like part of your original?
no, sorry,
Oh.
I was just scrambling to get it done.
Do you have access to
Can
the,
you join the Zoom?
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
that's
can you
what I'm-
join
can I join the Zoom? I just
Yeah.
don't have the log on
Oh.
for the.
He needs the invite or the.
okay, thank you.
Oh, the handle for the Wi-Fi.
He always asks me for that, and I have to think of it again every time.
I might take
this
this opportunity to join myself.
Right now,
Still don't.
they'll
have
never do it again.
Hold on.
Is it BC said when? Do I have it?
I think it's the PWN. Let me get it. It's. in
Oh, I
my-
do have it. Why am I, oh, no, it's
Message
asking me to
chat.
log in. That one.
I didn't know that was a thing you could do.
Oh, share password, yeah. When you join Wi-Fi, I feel like if I tell you if you're at my house and I'm like, yeah, it's this network, I don't remember the password. If you just click the network, if my phone is near it, usually you get a prompt on your phone that says share password, and you just, and then you, yeah, but it's not working. And I do not know what the password is.
I learn new things about my iPhone every day. Like, Eli picked up my phone and he's 13.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like flicking through all these windows. He's like, Mom, you have like 50 notifications open. He's like, it's like, I'm like, I had no idea.
Yeah. And it's so fast too.
Yeah.
What did you just do?
Ugh. I just learned how to delete multiple emails by going like that on the screen.
Oh,
I didn't
That's
know.
handy.
I had no idea until I did it by mistake. I'm like, damn, Apple. It's a great design.
What are you looking for?
To get on the Wi-Fi.
the Wi-Fi, so he can.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you, sorry.
Oh, so, no, that's the password for
That's
Zoom.
that's the Zoom
That's the Zoom.
log on, but I need to get on the password.
Can you tell, there's terrible service in here, could you tether to your phone?
My phone died.
Wait a minute. You want to join Andrew's iPhone? How analog can we get?
Well,
Let's, oh, wait. Oh.
Click that. Click the Wi-Fi. Let it linger, now go to the top. There. It should say, settings, personal hotspot, allow other people to join. Usually it's the top, but it says, oh, there you go, good, that's me.
Oh, I am.
Okay, so try PCS,
Oh, PCS.
PCS.
So that
do
PCS.
you want me to call my grandchildren?
EP,
Yeah, WN.
W,
My grandson has called the police from his mother's phone a couple of times already.
Accidentally
'Cause
or?
he just, punched his number yet. I mean, he's only 2 years old,
Oh,
but he recognized the fact that you got to punch in numbers.
Ready whenever you are. Password.
People may be.
It's an region like Northmore.
I know. You would think, right?
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
I think it's the one that came with like the cable box.
I
and
guess
we
it's
just ran with it.
Lower Upper, is that Lower Upper Caps Village? I'm gonna try out.
I think the V is upper, the rest of it is.
I did Wordle on the mini in this time.
And Karen,
I thought you were still trying to connect.
Oh, no.
3 things, the reason why I voted no, because you're gonna be putting that in the minutes, right? Aluminum, sliders, and the configuration of the window.
There's that.
I didn't want those ugly casement windows installed, but.
Well, actually, you could have voted against it.
I could have, but it was unclear. It was already approved in 2019. I remember that application very.
I don't
clearly,
remember
and it
the
was never
porch.
talked about because the porch was never talked about in December. because you guys had already approved it in 3 years prior. I mean, there's no way I
It was
would have not commented on
before.
that. I did not know that. I
We
thought of
didn't
all.
have a window expert. No,
It was,
we didn't.
were you guys on the board? You were on the board.
I
at
think
that time.
I was, oh God, me and
And
Sean,
Kathleen was at one of those meetings.
I just
Well,
don't
I'm trying
remember.
to think, 2019, that was,
Minutes, I don't want.
I joined in 2020, so I wasn't.
yeah, Kathleen was probably on.
Kathleen,
Kathleen
Yeah.
was,
Carolyn or Caroline?
Carolyn,
Oh, Carol,
Sean,
yeah.
me.
I think, because I remember 2019 is when we went into
You on?
sort of the COVID,
Nightmare.
yeah.
oh, that was 2020.
No, it was 2020. It was March 2020.
Yeah.
Yes, because I got off the plane and got sick. Yeah. Back.
Are you doing
Well,
that?
when in 2019?
August, 4 years ago. is what that
Yeah.
is, so,
I think,
if I don't walk down the
Oh. That was when I had my heart attack, so I
Oh.
wasn't here. That's why no certificate was issued.
Well, they never sent us.
That's-
You in?
I'm in.
Yay!
back on track.
Sorry.
Yay! Now you're
Okay,
gonna.
now we join Zoom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is just
So
funny.
how do I? Sharon, do you make me a presenter?
Yes.
Share?
Yeah.
Can. Well, you should be able to do it.
All right, I'll keep this really brief. That's like.
Who is that guy?
Don't worry about it. This is a short agenda. Drag it out.
No minutes, no. minutes. I have time for an up when we get home.
So whenever, you make me the presenter.
Well, yeah, I don't think you need to see everybody else. Why don't you show what you've got?
Yeah. You should be able to share your screen. Yeah.
Is that something that I can do now?
Mhm. I think when you share the rest of us.
So write down those three things. Oh, no.
I don't. I've never.
I've never
Go to
shared.
share certain
You
screen.
should be able to, because you're on.
How do we do it?
Okay.
Well, this is, once that's on, he can share.
One-
I know.
just-
How?
1%, yeah, 1%, one at a time.
that one. Can you scroll up and
No, that's not on his screen. That's up, that's not this screen.
What is
Okay,
on your
Sharon,
screen right
Can
now?
you change that?
Um,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, click that.
Okay, let's try.
There you go.
But you're already in Zoom.
Share screen.
How about the three dots?
Do that.
No,
There's like a
that's security there.
setting thing on there.
Security on.
Security and
it's been-
privacy. Computer and allow, can you click on or is it not there? I mean, we can see
turn the
it.
computer
You
around so we
if you
can see
just-
it.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Like
Well,
a
actually,
campfire?
because we're gonna run across this again in the future.
Right. Is
And
it, is
we're almost
your
at the-
laptop security not?
it's his security on, the system preferences on his laptop are for
Oh.
some reason blocking it. Can we just look at the screen?
Either that, or you can
We can troubleshoot.
send it to my email and I'll print it out for everybody.
So, thank you for making time this evening. Sorry about the technical issues. We are, looking to, install fences, on the sides of the house, if possible. This is obviously where we're very much looking for feedback. So, you know, my goal this evening is to just to explain the needs of the fencing, learn more about your process and scope and process, and then get feedback from the board for my next steps. And then involved here the left side of the house, the right side of the house, and then just a quick piece, just discussion starter for materials that you'd like to use. So this left side of the house, we all know the house. I think everyone knows the house. Yeah. Where there are already 5-foot propane bottles at the back that have been installed, and we're looking to install mini splits and and a generator. This is all on the left side of the house, the driveway side. So I would like ideally to be able to screen off without having to encapsulate each piece. Like that would be pretty intense, and I think it would probably look messy from my perspective. So so what the first thing that came to mind, looking for feedback, is just to use the Japanese concept of mirroring, so borrowing from, and a thought that came to mind was adapting the fencing, in fact mimicking the fencing on the side exactly, to which would actually like hide, I think, everything we need to do, and then paint that fence the light tone of the house, which I realize that HDRB doesn't really get involved in color, but the idea is just to hide things as much as possible, make it blend and go away. So now we're switching to the right side of the house, and we have some privacy issues and containment. Now we're putting a screen of green giants there, so it's not so much being able to see in, but I'll show you in a moment where we have an issue. This is the close up of the back. This is from the Julia Butterfield reading garden, and there's been severe deer damage to the screening trees here, and basically anybody sitting in the garden, which is lovely having people there, but we see them and they see us, and they can just basically look straight into our kitchen. So if we're having a family barbecue on a Saturday afternoon, there's people there in the garden. Where we walk outside in the morning with coffee, like there's people in the garden, and that's fine. Except, you know, I wouldn't mind a little more privacy, because often it's people who don't live in Cold Spring are there. That's cool, but ideally, I love like a little more privacy, and also just to be able to contain the dog that we have. So materials discussion. I want to just run by a piece, and I'll bring the sample next time. I'm sorry for not bringing that, but basically, I recently used a Boral product. It's actually good. I found it at Danes. They recommended it. It's flexible. It cuts like wood. It feels like wood. I think it looks like wood. And that'll be, of course, be up to you to.
We approved that. Wasn't it Campbell? It's more expensive than the.
Wasn't it the
AZAC, thank you.
who?
She's saying it's more expensive than AZAC. It's better.
It's really
Well,
expensive.
yeah.
It's really
Like, it's a
expensive.
fortune.
It's like better than free.
Right,
That
I
we
thought it
talked
was
about
the house that they rebuilt. Remember
Anna Pellizzeri, 15 High Street.
no, the one
Snippet,
out by the
that's right.
river, Campbell House.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, that
Oh,
one.
okay.
I couldn't remember if it was Campbell or Kevin. I've been corrected. That house.
Yeah.
The Boulevard, 20 the Boulevard.
Right.
That's covered in Boral.
Okay.
And we looked at a sample that's on Dolly's restaurant down in Garrison, which has nothing to do with this, but we did like go look at it, touch it,
And liked it.
and we liked it.
All right.
Yeah, and then we approved it.
It's like wood. Like it's
I know,
easy.
Well, the issue is mixing that with other things, because what we're looking for is materials that sort of age
Right,
evenly.
sure.
So, if you have burl for one part and regular wood for another part, then they won't grow old together.
Right. Well, can I just run
Sure,
through a
okay.
little bit more here that I've got? So this is something I did. I have a house in Brooklyn, and it has a large pergola at the back, and this was the pergola a year ago where this was 15-year-old slats that had been regularly maintained, but our demolition was literally taking our hands and pulling them off. They just ripped off and disintegrated into dust. I'm sure we've all had that. We've all done that. So we stripped it back and used just for the supports, used pressure treated. But I realize this is a bit taboo. But this was just for this supports and skeleton.
Yeah, it depends on where it is.
And then this is so it comes. This product comes pre-primed. This is obviously now stained, and that is unstained. And then that's the finished product. I believe.
Are they pre-assembled panels or?
No, we built that. We
Okay.
only got the boards from Dane. In this case, I would use the 4-inch. These are 8-inch boards. I'd use 4-inch, and I'd mimic exactly what there is on the fence at the side, basically, which runs all the way up, and I'm just trying to borrow to make it disappear as much as possible. That's it.
I guess the only question is have you talked to the zoning board about fence heights? And I guess the question that is really for us is stockade fences as opposed to, but these are all in the back, right?
Well, the driveway side.
Yeah, they're on the sides of the house. They're tucked back from the house.
Then what do you have across the back?
At the back, we currently don't have a fence, but right up the driveway side, I think you saw the fence there.
Is that yours or is that the neighbor's?
I'm not sure. Predates us.
So matching that
So literally,
style.
I just sorry for my cheesy, terrible graphics work. Andrea wasn't available, unfortunately. Just kidding. But it's yeah, I literally took a photo of that and.
Yeah, I think that I know zoning has certain regulations concerned. The first thing is obviously the height of the
Yeah, that's side yard, rear yard, front yard, or
right.
formal sort of.
And then the question is that right now, and I don't think it's changed. What do our guidelines say concerning stockade fences?
Does that count as a stock?
Well, that's why I was asking about the
It's got like a-
assembly and whether it's.
It's got that horizontal kind of cap across the top. To me, that doesn't.
Okay, so what-
I don't know.
The stockade doesn't have
So
Yeah.
this mock-up, I'm sorry, is that,
Isn't a stockade usually just like the vertical rails?
vertical rails are a large component, but to me, a stockade fences with. Short answer is yes, that is the,
manual?
but I think that the whole idea is a solid fence. And I don't know if that's,
Do we have like
yeah,
design standards?
hang on. Oh,
That would
Lloyd
be the
can
new
do it.
version.
Lloyd,
It would be the new version,
Lloyd,
when we adopted.
Yes. Let me look that up.
yeah, look up what we have as far as fences go. So we can advise Ben on what he's allowed to do.
Yeah.
A solid wood fence feels preferable when blocking modern mechanicals.
Yeah.
Well, agreed.
What
And-
did
and-
we approve at
Yeah,
Chapel
that's-
Restoration? Or the air handler thing that we blocked, okay, chapel restoration didn't have a fence, that was hidden by a bush, and we just don't keep the vegetation. I feel like we put,
We say in here that palisade or stockade fencing is not permitted in front yards.
It's a side yard.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely
Make the side yard,
the
front
side.
facing side yard.
Can you
Higher
share,
higher fences used for privacy further back from frontage and visible from the street should be compatible with the character of the existing house. The transition between low front fencing and rear utilitarian fencing requires careful design.
How do we
can you
describe
share-
stockade in a glossary of terms?
Can you share the section of the
Yes, I can. No, wait. I'm not on. I'm gonna join again, Karen, from my computer. This is on my iPad, so I can then share it from my computer.
the design guidelines are on the website.
Right.
So take a look at that. There is a specific chapter dealing with fences.
Mhm.
And what it is what it is.
I took a look at it, I didn't memorize it.
It's whatever we wrote.
But it's, so, I mean, obviously, I think the goals of what I'm trying to achieve,
Right.
I do think we need a fence of, which I believe, the side fences are allowed to go 6 foot. So I think that would achieve what we need to achieve.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess it leaves a little room for interpretation.
Sorry. Okay.
Front facing, side yard, I don't know how detailed the definitions are in the zoning.
Right, so, okay, so let's say, just being devil's advocate, the,
Here we are.
that fence is not permitted, then I still need to go to that height, but for each individual piece. And it's gonna look, I'm gonna have like 3 big boxes down the side of the house. Which is, I think, less
Thank you, Lloyd.
desirable.
Wait,
Sure. I'm looking at the definition.
Backside?
yeah,
The HVAC side, but for the generator, the HVAC, and then the propane.
Oh, you want to do 3 different,
I don't want to.
Yeah,
I
effort
wanna put
fence.
one fence up.
just
I
one
just
in
wanna
the
put
front?
one
I
curtain.
thought there was a whole section on fencing.
I was
There
asking
is.
for the glossary term.
I was at that section, and she was asking for the glossary term, so I went to that.
Crazy,
Uh,
sorry.
No, it's fine. Here it is again.
Fences.
Fences.
Right.
Oh, there it is, there it is.
So what does it tell us?
That's what I read to you earlier. This part here, higher fences used for privacy further back from the frontage and visible from the street should be compatible with the character of the existing house. The transition between low front fencing and rear utilitarian fencing requires careful design. And then there's this section here about palisade or stockade fencing is not permitted in front yards.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not in the front
I
yard.
interpret that as being like, if I wanted to put it on
Along
the
the side,
sidewalk,
yeah,
then
yeah.
the stockade fence being no, and
Yeah.
and quite rightly. This
I
is-
agree with that.
Oh, Again,
Yeah,
my
I
only
think-
concern is to
Yeah.
just like mechanicals, yeah, and then whatever I do on that side, I think it makes sense that I need to replicate that on the other side. If we don't want to mix and match fences, for sure. And it's just borrowing from the fence that's currently there now, it's quite
Yeah.
visible from the street.
I agree.
Alright, so, well, I agree. I mean, those guidelines, they are just approved. Whatever it says, that's what we will live by.
That's what we wrote.
If you want something more transparent, there's this hybrid.
Oh, yeah, I mean, straightforward that when we're talking about front yard, is the yard in front of the house. Now, that does not sound like what you're talking about. So therefore, yeah,
And it's, yeah, it's not allowed in front yards because it disrupts the streetscape and creates, you know, a privacy screen that we have not permitted anywhere.
There's this one section that's interesting, and one note here that's interesting about a hybrid fencing design with a lower portion panel and an upper portion picketed or latticed. Like you could have if you wanted more view of the sky, let's say, but you still wanted privacy below, you could do, sounds like you could do an upper portion with I guess a lattice, a straight lattice, so straight up and down.
Okay.
Side to side.
Actually,
Might be nice, just
talking about things pretty low to the ground, so. It could mimic the lattice that's under the porch.
Yeah.
If you decided to go that route.
Okay.
not a requirement, I'm just pointing out what I'm seeing here.
Workshopping.
Lloyd, do you want me to email
Workshopping.
this slide deck later?
What's that?
Like me to email you this slide deck later?
That would be awesome, yeah. Because I was about to say, hey, I'm gonna hang up because I didn't know what you guys were looking at.
It's late. I'll let you guys head out, but
Watch this one.
No, it's fine. That would be great if you could email it. I couldn't find it in my emails either, so I'd love to see it.
I love these thoughts. Thanks so much, everybody. I will, I guess next steps would be like a put together a proposal and then, yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Let's see, jump in one of those from there and I'll give it a thank you for what happened. Cool, thank you.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you. We can't do the minutes because
Because Sean is not here. So he would have to be here, so he didn't put them on. Yeah.
I know the one other thing is that we're due or we need to deliver the monthly report. Now, is Sean gonna be back to do that?
Well, he sent me a report, a report that has August in it. He also included tonight's meeting. And then I'm supposed to flesh that out, with what happened tonight. Technically, it's the August report, but if he wants to put in a paragraph about what happened tonight. And that has to be submitted.
I don't think so. Let's keep it simple.
You want me to just do August?
No.
No.
Let's, if on the previous, I guess previously, the reason that it wasn't included was because they were due prior to the actual meeting. Right?
August was very short and simple.
That's right, because we're submitting a report on the work of August, our meetings during August, so it should be just August.
And we don't normally vote on these, right?
No, he just submits.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave me a draft, if you want to look at it.
Then let's
If
keep
you
it
want me to
that.
leave it just to August, that's, all right, so that has to be in by Friday.
Okay, going down the agenda.
We're at the
Public
bottom.
comment. Public comment. Do I hear anything?
Members of the public,
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I could adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi,
Aye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
good night.
9:05, not bad.
Good night, guys. Thank you.